You hear it all the time, let's take it slow. And at first it feels harmless, even romantic. But what if I told you that there's a hidden truth behind those words, things she's thinking but will never say out loud? Today, we're breaking down the real psychology of this phrase, why she really says it, and how you can respond without sabotaging your chances. When a woman says, let's take it slow, it's easy to misinterpret these words as rejection or lack of interest, but the reality is far more nuanced. This phrase rarely means she doesn't like you. Instead, it often reflects her need to navigate her emotions carefully and assess the relationship at a pace that feels safe to her. Understanding this hidden meaning is the first step in responding in a way that maintains attraction rather than creating distance. One of the main reasons women use this phrase is to establish emotional safety. She might have been hurt in past relationships or experienced situations where rushing in led to disappointment. By asking to take things slowly, she is protecting herself from repeating old mistakes. It's not about testing your patience. It's about ensuring that her emotional investment is measured and thoughtful. Men who misinterpret this as disinterest often make the mistake of pushing too hard or showing frustration, which can unintentionally confirm her caution. Another layer to this phrase is the way women evaluate compatibility. Let's take it slow can signal that she is still observing how you behave over time, how consistent you are, and whether your words align with your actions. Women are often tuned into these subtle signals because they matter more to long-term satisfaction than instant attraction. If she notices that you respect her pace and continue to show genuine interest without pressure, it strengthens her trust and signals that you are reliable, a key factor in building lasting attraction. It's also important to understand that this phrase can indicate a desire to savor the early stages of connection. Some women enjoy the thrill of building intimacy gradually and want to avoid burning through excitement too quickly. By slowing down, she ensures that each step in the relationship carries meaning. For men, this is a critical insight. Responding with patience and attentiveness rather than impatience demonstrates emotional maturity and makes the connection feel more intentional and valuable. Additionally, let's take it slow can reflect her current life circumstances. She might be focused on personal growth, career priorities, or family obligations, and this phrase is a polite way to communicate that her capacity for a deep relationship is limited at the moment. This doesn't mean she's uninterested, it means she wants the relationship to grow alongside her life rather than compete with it. Recognizing this perspective allows men to approach the situation with empathy, which is far more attractive than frustration or entitlement. Finally, decoding this phrase requires observing not just what she says, but how she acts. Her actions often reveal her true level of interest. Regular communication, thoughtful gestures, and consistent attention are signs that she's invested, even if she's asking to slow the pace. By interpreting both words and actions together, men can avoid common misunderstandings and respond in ways that deepen the connection instead of undermining it. When a woman says, let's take it slow, one of the most important layers to understand is her need to establish emotional boundaries. These boundaries are not about pushing you away. They're about creating a safe space where she can navigate her feelings without feeling overwhelmed or pressured. Emotional boundaries are a natural and healthy part of any relationship, and recognizing them early on can prevent misunderstandings and build deeper trust. Women often use this phrase to gauge how well a man respects their emotional space. She may be evaluating whether you can match her pace emotionally and whether you can remain supportive without demanding more than she is ready to give. Men who fail to respect these boundaries often unintentionally create tension or anxiety, making the relationship feel rushed or unbalanced. On the other hand, a man who demonstrates patience, understanding, and empathy shows that he values her emotions as much as his own, which is incredibly attractive. These emotional boundaries also help women process their own feelings clearly. When a woman asks to slow things down, she might be reflecting on her level of trust, emotional readiness, and personal priorities. Rushing this process can lead to confusion, hesitation, or even withdrawal. By giving her the space to assess her emotions, a man allows the relationship to develop organically and builds a foundation of mutual respect. Emotional boundaries, when acknowledged, actually accelerate intimacy over time because they prevent unnecessary conflicts and misunderstandings. It's also essential to understand that emotional boundaries are communicated both verbally and non-verbally. While she may say, "Let's take it slow," her behavior can provide additional clues. For example, she may remain attentive in conversation, initiate meaningful topics, or show subtle signs of affection. These actions often reveal that she is emotionally engaged but wants the relationship to progress at a pace that feels safe. Recognizing and responding appropriately to these cues demonstrates emotional intelligence, which strengthens the connection far more than words alone. Moreover, emotional boundaries protect her sense of independence and self-identity. A woman who moves cautiously is often ensuring that her life, goals, and values remain intact while exploring the relationship. This is particularly common for women who have been in intense or unhealthy dynamics in the past. By honoring her boundaries, a man signals that he is trustworthy and that he values her individuality. This approach not only reduces pressure but also fosters genuine attraction because it shows that the relationship is built on respect rather than control. Finally, understanding emotional boundaries also involves managing one's own reactions. Men who take her request personally or respond with impatience risk creating tension and insecurity. Instead, the most effective approach is to focus on self-control, empathy, and active listening. By demonstrating patience and emotional maturity, a man allows the woman to feel comfortable opening up gradually. This patience often encourages her to invest more emotionally over time because she sees that her feelings are acknowledged and respected. When a woman says, "Let's take it slow," it's essential to distinguish between genuine caution and potential red flags. Many men misinterpret this phrase and overanalyze it, assuming it's a sign of disinterest or manipulation. The truth is that women often have valid reasons for wanting to slow things down, but the key lies in observing patterns of behavior and understanding the underlying motivations. Recognizing the difference can save a man from unnecessary frustration and help him respond in a way that strengthens the relationship. Genuine caution usually stems from a desire to ensure emotional readiness and compatibility. Women who express this are typically thoughtful, self-aware, and cautious about investing in a relationship that might not align with their values or long-term goals. They want to make sure the emotional foundation is strong before moving forward. This type of caution is often accompanied by consistent, albeit measured, signs of interest, regular communication, engagement in meaningful conversations, and small gestures that indicate care. Men who recognize these patterns understand that patience is not a weakness, but a strategic approach to building a stable connection. On the other hand, red flags emerge when "let's take it slow" is used inconsistently or manipulatively. For example, a woman who repeatedly asks to slow things down but then sends mixed signals, disappears for days without explanation, or engages with other romantic prospects without transparency may be signaling hesitation that goes beyond genuine caution. These behaviors can indicate emotional unavailability, lack of honesty, or unwillingness to commit, and men need to be able to identify these patterns without overreacting. Understanding this distinction prevents confusion and helps a man decide whether to invest his energy or protect his emotional well-being. Another important factor in differentiating genuine caution from red flags is context. If a woman is asking to take things slow early in the relationship, it might simply reflect her desire to build trust and emotional safety. However, if this pattern continues long-term without any progression or deeper emotional connection, it may be worth examining the situation more closely. Genuine caution evolves as the relationship develops, whereas red flag behaviors tend to create repeated cycles of uncertainty and frustration. Men who can recognize this difference avoid unnecessary heartbreak and approach the relationship with clarity. It's also vital to pay attention to consistency. Genuine caution is often paired with predictability in behavior and communication. A woman who truly wants to take it slow will still make efforts to stay connected, share experiences, and show investment in the relationship at a pace she's comfortable with. Red flags, however, are characterized by erratic communication, avoidance of meaningful discussions, or repeated cancellations without valid reasons. By observing these patterns over time, men can gain insight into her intentions without jumping to conclusions based solely on her words. Finally, emotional intuition plays a role in this evaluation. Men who trust their instincts while also observing tangible behaviors tend to make better judgments in differentiating genuine caution from red flags. It's not about being suspicious, but about being aware and mindful of how her words align with her actions. Approaching the relationship with patience, empathy, and attentiveness allows a man to navigate this delicate balance effectively, showing that he respects her pace while also protecting his own emotional investment. When a woman says, "Let's take it slow," her words are only part of the story. The real truth often lies in her behavior, which can reveal much more about her intentions, level of interest, and emotional engagement. Understanding these behavioral signals is crucial for men who want to respond intelligently and maintain attraction, rather than misreading her caution as disinterest or rejection. Paying attention to these subtle cues can help a man navigate the early stages of a relationship with confidence and clarity. One of the most common behavioral signals is consistency. A woman who genuinely wants to take things slow will still make an effort to stay connected, whether through thoughtful messages, calls, or in-person interactions. These actions demonstrate that while she is pacing the relationship, she is invested in keeping the emotional connection alive. Men often overlook these small gestures, focusing only on the pace rather than the underlying intent. Recognizing this consistency is a sign that her request to slow down is rooted in caution and not avoidance. Another behavioral signal is selective engagement. Women often use this as a way to test compatibility and emotional responsiveness. She might engage deeply in meaningful conversations, share personal experiences, or express curiosity about your life, while avoiding overly intense or fast-moving situations. These selective moments of engagement indicate that she is emotionally present, but also setting boundaries to ensure the connection grows at a comfortable pace. Men who understand this distinction respond with attentiveness and patience rather than pressure, which reinforces trust and attraction. Body language is another key signal. Nonverbal cues such as maintaining eye contact, leaning in during conversations, smiling genuinely, and subtle touches can indicate interest and comfort. Even if she is verbally asking to take it slow, these physical signals reveal that she is engaged and emotionally available. Conversely, avoidance of eye contact, crossed arms, or frequent distractions may indicate discomfort or a need for more space. Observing these signals allows a man to gauge how she truly feels and adjust his approach accordingly. Frequency and quality of communication also serve as strong behavioral indicators. A woman who initiates conversations, responds thoughtfully, and remembers details about your life is signaling genuine interest while maintaining her pace. Men often misinterpret less frequent communication as disinterest, but in reality, she may simply be balancing her life priorities while testing the emotional depth of the connection. Paying attention to the quality of interaction rather than the quantity provides a clearer understanding of her intentions. Another subtle behavioral signal is her responsiveness to plans and invitations. A woman taking things slow may be cautious about committing to activities immediately, but will usually make an effort to engage in ways that feel safe to her. This might include suggesting alternative dates, expressing excitement about spending time together, or showing thoughtfulness in planning. These behaviors reflect her desire to maintain the relationship while respecting her emotional boundaries. Finally, small acts of thoughtfulness, remembering preferences, sending check-ins, or supporting personal milestones often indicate genuine care behind the slow approach. These actions demonstrate that she values the connection and is testing the pace rather than withholding affection. Men who can read and respond to these behavioral signals appropriately show emotional intelligence, patience, and respect, which strengthens attraction and deepens trust. One of the biggest challenges men face when a woman says, "Let's take it slow," is managing their own emotions, specifically balancing patience with frustration. It's natural to feel eager, excited, or even anxious in the early stages of a relationship, but how a man responds to her request can determine whether the connection grows stronger or begins to weaken. Understanding the difference between exercising patience and succumbing to frustration is essential for maintaining attraction and building trust. Patience is not passive. It's active engagement without pressure. A man who practices patience respects her pace while continuing to show genuine interest and care. This means being attentive to her needs, listening actively, and responding thoughtfully to her words and actions. Patience demonstrates emotional maturity, self-control, and understanding, which are qualities women value deeply. It shows that you are invested in the connection for the long term, rather than seeking instant gratification or forcing the relationship to move faster than it naturally should. Frustration, on the other hand, often arises when men misinterpret "let's take it slow" as rejection or lack of interest. This can manifest in impatience, over-analyzing her words, or pressuring her for clarity or commitment prematurely. These behaviors can create tension and push her away, exactly the opposite of the intended effect. Women can sense when a man is frustrated or anxious, and it often undermines their comfort and emotional security. Recognizing that frustration is a natural response, but one that must be controlled, is key to navigating the situation successfully. Another aspect of patience involves understanding timing and emotional cycles. Women may experience shifts in mood, energy, or availability that are unrelated to their level of interest. A patient man observes these changes without taking them personally, offering support without demanding attention or affection. This approach communicates stability, reliability, and respect for her emotional needs. Over time, it reinforces trust, which is far more attractive than pushiness or impatience. Communication is also critical in balancing patience and frustration. A man can express curiosity, interest, and care without applying pressure or rushing the pace. Asking thoughtful questions, showing appreciation for her perspective, and maintaining engaging conversations allows the connection to deepen naturally. Frustration often arises when communication is mismanaged, when expectations are unmet, or desires are expressed in a way that lacks empathy. By keeping dialogue positive and considerate, men can maintain a strong presence without overstepping her boundaries. Self-awareness is another crucial factor. Recognizing one's own emotional triggers and desires allows a man to respond consciously rather than react impulsively. Frustration often stems from unmet personal expectations, fear of rejection, or over-attachment. By developing awareness of these internal responses, a man can choose patience and understanding instead. This not only protects the relationship, but also demonstrates confidence and emotional intelligence, qualities that women instinctively respect. Finally, patience allows attraction to grow naturally while frustration tends to erode it. A woman who sees that a man can remain calm, supportive, and emotionally stable, even when she asks to slow the pace, begins to feel safer and more connected. Conversely, when frustration dominates, the relationship becomes strained and trust begins to waver. Mastering the balance between patience and frustration is a subtle but powerful way to ensure that the connection remains strong and that both partners feel valued and understood.